The Valve Steam Deck has been a device that I have been wanting for a very long time. I've made content about it over the last year, and I've been very excited to finally get my hands on this device because it's literally done everything that I thought it would do. Like, I knew it was going to be good, and I know I've seen various videos where some people are saying it's amazing, some people are saying it's half-baked, it's half-assed, it's not really that great. But actually, for me, after having time with it, which at the time of this recording, I've had a little under a week with it, I've gotten to not only play a lot of games from my Steam library, but also a lot of games that I, physically own that I emulate, and probably a bunch of others that I don't own that I've got to emulate as well. And this has just been an absolute joy to dive into. So we're going to talk about a lot of things in this video, from not only the pre-order but also the long wait to get to the point where it's physically in my hands. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get into it.
This wasn't written with your comfort in mind. Nah, made my decision, wasn't tough to decide. Nah, me and my boys, we get it done every time. Gotta earn it, you can't just jump in the line. You'll get rushed to the side. I top my division, I've been building since I started. In the parking lot, I parked it. I came in while picking targets. My career cannot be tarnished. I'm a champion regardless. Celebrate, but this a different kind of lucha party. We are not alike.
Alright, and kicking this video off, I'm just really excited to finally have the Steam Deck. It is finally in my hands, yes. This has been a long journey because I really didn't think that I would ever get the chance to get it because, okay, a lot of us are in Q2 or Q2 2022. It's been a long journey, especially if you've got the 512 gig model, which is the one I have right here, where, if you're going by the move calculator and all the other things, it took some time. Like, you're literally going to be sitting and waiting because the 512 was literally moving at a snail pace. It was going minutes. Like, actually, no, it would go like 50 something seconds or 40 seconds every week, and then when they double it up, then you're getting like 2 or 3 minutes. And then we had this massive jump to where it finally got around, which technically I got mine early, for however that happened. I just got the email and I was like, yo, let's just go ahead and order the damn thing. And it got here, and I'm absolutely loving it. And what I want to say is that this has really blown my expectations, because when it comes to handhelds, I mean, I've got the Nintendo Switch OLED here, which has been something I do enjoy, although I don't play it as much as I used to, just because, one, portability, it wasn't really a factor anymore, and a lot of people who swear by the Switch will say, oh, it's the portability factor. Well, when you're getting games, like, I like a lot of the exclusive games that are for the Nintendo Switch. However, when it comes to playing games that are also on other platforms, that is where the Switch just doesn't hold up very well. And I was just getting to a point where the only time I was going to this was for the exclusives, and anything else I just didn't want to touch anymore. And because that became a thing, and then when the Xbox Series X and S and then the PlayStation 5 came out, I was playing on those. And, that plus my gaming PCs, you guys know I've covered a lot of gaming, laptops and such like that. Well, I just started diving heavy into Steam and into console gaming. And so this just kind of, and yes, this is a home console as well as a portable, but it's so underpowered compared to everything else that I just got sick of playing it. So literally this just sits in a dock and I barely ever play it. And then comes the Steam Deck, where I not only have access to the majority, and not all, but the majority of my Steam library, but it's just so cool being able to play it portably or be able to connect it using like a USB hub, which that can be a whole other thing. Like, that's a whole nother topic of accessories. Trying to find accessories for this thing can be very, the ones that work can be a bit of a hassle, but having this in the hands, I had to put the Switch down, but finally having this thing has just been absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. And the games, a lot of games I like to play on Steam are compatible with it. You know, I've got everything from Bright Memory Infinite, which is something I really, really like. I got my Doom Eternal and Doom 2016, which run like ass on the Switch, and it just runs so good on here. I can get that 720 at 60 frames per second. I'm really, really happy with it. BioShock, you know, the collection, and then being able to like sideload other things on it, like, you know, your Epic Game Store and, you know, the EA launcher. You can do all of that, like the customization, and especially if you're used to using Linux, or if you've got, you know, experience running Mac OS, or, you know, using Windows, and you'll be able to easily go into the desktop mode, and then you get a whole nother experience because this is a full-fledged PC. And it's just been a real joy, just being able to dive into it and have fun with it. Now, I did run into a couple issues with it, and it was mainly when I installed my 1TB, which is the SanDisk 1TB Extreme. And at one point, I was able to move all my games over from the internal storage, which, like I said, is 512, move it over from the internal to the external, and that was cool. I freed up a lot of my internal space. But then it just got to a point where I could not, for some reason, get this to, like, I don't know, like the controls for none of the games were working. So I had to do a factory reset, then, you know, run all the additional updates, but thankfully all the games are on the SD card. So when that happened, boom, you know, no issues whatsoever. It was good to go. Outside of that, I've had issues where some games will crash, and some games that are quote unquote supported, not working, crashing, and I had to change different protons. And if you're not familiar with what I mean by the protons, so basically when you select the game, you can, you know, press the Steam button, go over to your options, you know, game settings, and then you can force the Steam Deck to put it into a compatibility mode. So you've got Proton Experimental, and then Proton 7.0, and then it just goes on to like earlier protons. And for the most part, it's going to be primarily checked off, but for some of the games that are giving you difficulties, just try one of the different protons and you'll probably be able to get it working there. But yeah, like I've had, like, one of the games I had an issue with was Edge of Eternity, and then after a while I was able to get that to work. Some of the games I'd like to play as well, outside of shooters and you know, side scrollers, so I like to play a lot of fighting games. And one of the things with the Steam Deck is, you know, when you're looking at the D-pad and trying to get this centered. Now, one of the things I had a concern with when it came to the D-pad was I didn't know if the D-pad would be, you know, good enough for fighting games, because it looks awkwardly placed and looks mushy. And in some of the reviews that I've seen where people were talking about, you know, how the D-pad is, a lot of people say it's not that great. But I'm here to say that someone who plays a lot of fighting games, both, you know, casually and competitively, being able to play Street Fighter V, which is a game that's not supported but runs 100% flawlessly, is fine. KOF 15, Guilty Gear Strive, Street Fighter or Ultra Street Fighter 4, and then other fighting games, it runs, like, I'm able to pull off all of my moves easily. Now, one of the cool things of how I like to test, as you guys know, I've done a lot of controller reviews, but one of the ways I like to test the D-pad for fighting games is I'll fire up KOF, and one of the characters I like to play is Kyo Kusanagi. Now, he has moves that are like chain punches, and they very much require precision and really good dexterity. And when I was firing up KOF 15, KOF 02 Unlimited Match, and KOF 98, no issues whatsoever getting his moves to pull off. And just literally every fighting game has been perfect. And even when I go to play other classic games, like I've got the Castlevania collection as well as the Castlevania Advance collection, they run perfectly fine, you know, and neither one are fully 100% you know, compatible with the Steam Deck, but they do run fine. And, you know, playing side scrollers like that, absolutely flawless. Playing classics like Chrono Trigger, you know, Final Fantasy 6 and 4, you know, the pixel remasters that I've previously reviewed, they run like a dream on this, and it just seems unreal. Even playing Tekken 7 on this has been such a surreal experience. that it just doesn't seem real. Now, a lot of games, like other ones, like I know a lot of people have probably shown you, what Elden Ring looks like, because that's the game a lot of people are gonna say, hey, it's cool, I'm playing Elden Ring on my Steam Deck. That's, yeah, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Running at 30 frames per second, and then, with the additional features that have been added to the Steam Deck, you can run it at a higher frame rate than that. Expensive, performance, right? But just the capability of playing not only AAA games, but classic games, indie games, and then when you dive into like the emulation side and being able to add stuff on there, like I'm over here now able to I'll show you guys here, like I've got my classic games here, like I can run my Dreamcast, I can run the Game Boy Advance, I can run the GameCube, I can run the 64, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PSP, Xbox 360. Although there's caveats with the the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, the Xbox, but just being able to play everything here, as someone who loves retro gaming and current gaming, it's absolutely fantastic. Like, this is literally my do everything console. And yes, you can emulate, the Nintendo Switch on it, although that's to varying effect. And honestly, if I'm playing Nintendo Switch, I'm gonna just get my Switch OLED or my Switch Lite and just play that. When it comes to playing those games, because I do. As much as I do like emulation, and I do think emulation is great for like game preservation, I also like playing on authentic hardware. So literally every game I've got on here that's emulated, I do have a physical copy in my game room in the other room. So that's pretty cool. But just being able to have everything right here at the palm of my hands, absolutely fantastic. Now, when it comes to battery life, that's one of the things that a lot of people are like, hey, is the battery life that good? Because estimations really vary based off of what you're going to be playing. You can get, if you're playing like a retro game or an indie game, you can get up to 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours of battery life. And then if you're playing more modern games, modern AAA games, you probably get like an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on what you put your performance settings to, also factoring in Bluetooth, screen brightness and such. And just really it comes down to what you're playing. Now, I kind of look at this the same way I would look at like a gaming laptop, where, gaming laptop, if you're playing off of, just battery, you're going to get like an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of gameplay off of it. So I treat it the same way. I know a lot of people are disappointed with the battery life on the Steam Deck, but I don't personally see that being an issue. Not for me. I'm perfectly fine with it. Now, included, you do get the case, which I have the case right here. Case is dope. Now this is the one for the 512. I really like it. Plus, that little pouch here, I'm able to, have my power cable that it came with. Now I also have some third-party power cables that I did pick up. Like Best Buy at one point had a clearance sale for $10 for a 90-watt USB-C charger, and I got it. And no damage to this. Charges it fast, does well. I'm able to, because I need to have Type-C cables, especially power bricks, throughout my house, because I got this set up, I got the other set up in the other room, then I got the living room, and also when I travel. So I effectively have got 4 USB-T. Well, if I include the one that came with the Steam Deck, I've got effectively 4 that I can carry around with me. But this has been, just okay. Other thing, I know I'm rambling, and this is mostly going to be a rambling video because I'm really enjoying my time with the Steam Deck. But being able to put this in desktop mode and being able to use Linux as a full-on computer, having your file explorer, having your start menu, having your own store that you can go in and find different applications as well as emulators and such, and then being able to use browsers, setting up Game Pass or xCloud, and you can do word processing and stuff like that. You can effectively video edit on this. There's so much stuff that you can do with this because it's literally a computer. So I can go from playing some games to docking it, and you do need to find like a pretty decent, like I've got a J5 Create USB dock or USB Type-C dock, and it's really good. The only caveat with that is it does 4K 30 instead of 4K 60, but I've got another cable coming in, which I'll go over that later. I'm also going to be doing a whole separate video on the different accessories I picked up, because I was supposed to have my like a stationary dock and screen protector and some other stuff for this, and it didn't come in because of Amazon, and Amazon having issues sending things to Hawaii has just been really, really annoying. But anyway, being able to dock it, running into my monitor here, and having it, I've got it paired up with my Logitech TKL 915 right here, and also pairing that up with this right here. I probably get the model name wrong. Hey, don't flame me. This is all off the dome, but having these set up, it is absolutely fantastic. And just being able to just go, like just get work done, write scripts, my various videos, and just go from there. Other things I want to talk about, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but let me turn this off again, that way you can see. So the touchpads, you got the touchpads as well as the paddles on the back. Now the touchpads, I'm actually blown away at how cool it is, because you can utilize the touchpads and be able to, operate this with like the, being able to, the right one can operate like a mouse pad. So you see the cursor of the mouse going across. You can pull up the touch, if you do, I believe it's Steam button and X, you can pull up the virtual keyboard, which is really cool too. Some people say it's really lacking, and then you can use both touchpads to go about typing. I don't really have an issue with it, but it's also not something that I use a lot. Like, I use it when I need to use it to get things done, and I go from there. But beyond that, I don't really have an issue with it. You know what I mean? It just does what it needs to do. But beyond that, back paddles are off by default, but you can always turn them back on depending on what type of game you're playing. And then you can configure the back paddles to be whatever it is you want it to be. And then as far as heat dissipation, you've got heat dissipation here on the back right here, as well as on the top, along with your power, your volume, and then your auxiliary input for your headphones. Then you've got your shoulder buttons, which these are so good. I absolutely love these. But yeah, I really can't. It's a very comfortable. It's lighter than I thought it would be. It's got some heft to it, but it's lighter than I thought it would be. I've seen and heard people say like it gets really, really hot and uncomfortable to wheel. I've not really run into that, so it's not been in my experience. Another thing is, I've heard people say that the fans get really loud to the point where it's distracting. I've not run into, even when I'm playing like Doom Eternal, I've not heard the fans like go overboard, and this is with me running max settings. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not sensitive to sound like that, but I don't know. It all in all, I've had no issues connecting to Wi-Fi. Easy, setting it up has been painless. Now that goes to say, because a lot of people might be curious as to like, is this something for the casual person to pick up and utilize? That kind of depends. If you've already got a Steam library of games, then yes. If not, and you just want to be able to start playing a game and go from there, you don't really want to tinker, then maybe you want to go with something else. Although I don't see this being that difficult for a casual to buy and start using. I think it's when you want to dive into like setting up the emulators, with the Emu deck and all the other stuff, that you're going to be doing a lot more tinkering. That's one thing that, as a tech head, I like to tinker with this a lot, where I can see a lot of other people probably wouldn't. But I digress. I think if you were going to get a Steam Deck and you pre-ordered it, you pretty much knew what you're getting yourself into. And if you didn't, then that's on you. That's not anyone else's fault. But yeah, I really enjoy this thing. I really love this thing. This thing is absolutely fantastic. The thumbsticks are very comfortable. The buttons are good. Trackpad's good. You know, the triggers are good. The volume on this thing is so amazing. It's I love this thing. Plus, you know, being able to convert it into like a desktop has been awesome. All in all, this or the Switch. Really can't compare them because they're very much hitting two different demographics. But if you're a gamer, I say get both. I've got this. I got the Switch OLED, Switch Lite. I've got the Analog Pocket, which I'll have a video coming up very soon about. And, you know, I've got all types of consoles. Like I've got retro consoles. I've got current consoles. I've got 2 gaming PCs. I'm just a tech head who just loves tech and loves gaming. And this just allows me to enjoy it in a new way, especially as a dad. You know, having, you know, a toddler run around the house, not being able to sit in my computer to just play games the way I used to, or be able to sit in my, you know, the game room and play on my consoles the way I used to. Just having it right here, and I can just play it, get back to my kid, go back here, you know, go about, play on it. It's just, the versatility of this is just absolutely insane. But that's my thoughts. I really love the Steam Deck. You know, my thoughts, my impressions, and my general review of this is it's a solid go. I think if you're looking to have a lot of fun with something like this, you can't go wrong. Make sure you do get a screen protector, maybe a skin from Dbrand or Skin It, and I would say definitely get like a 512 or a 1 terabyte micro SD card, and you should be good to go. But beyond that, I want to know what you guys think. Did you get your Steam Deck yet? What has been your experience with it so far? Have you enjoyed it? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to pick up any accessories that I would recommend, I'm also going to be doing a whole separate Steam Deck accessory video. Then I'll leave links down below. And also, if you haven't already, I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, but make sure you sub to the channel for more Steam Deck videos, as well as Analog Pocket videos, gaming tech videos in general, and so much more. So with all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hope you have a aloha and blessed rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Mahalo for making it to the end of the video. And if you found anything of importance or substance that you gained from watching this, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you sub to the channel and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the content that you get from my channel, from podcasts, streams, reviews, impressions, reactions, and so much more. If you want to support what we do have channel memberships. We've got Patreon, we've got Subscribestar, as well as coffee, which I would love to be drinking some coffee right now, which I am. That's some good coffee. But anyway, we got all of that, and we also have merch on Teespring and TeePublic, so make sure you go check that out. And all that being said, I just hope to see you in the next video that I put out. So hey, see you around.